What if one of the most loved faces of Hudson and Rex quietly felt that season 8 missed the mark? Not angry words, not a public attack, just a feeling that something went wrong. And fans noticed it to dot the idea that Hudson and Rex season 8 was terrible did not explode out of nowhere. It grew slowly, episode by episode, reaction by reaction. For years, the show built a strong bond with its audience. It was simple, warm, and reliable. Each case felt familiar but still fun. Viewers knew what they were getting, and they liked it that way. Season 8, however, felt different from the very beginning. Not bad at first, just different in a way that was hard to explain. When John Reardon's name became linked to this harsh claim, fans were shocked. He has always been seen as someone who respects the show and the people who love it. That is why this moment matters so much, whether the words were said directly or shaped by fan talk later. The feeling behind them connects with something many viewers were already thinking. Season 8 did not feel like the show they fell in love with. The pacing felt slower in places where tension should have been high. Some cases ended too quickly, while others dragged on without enough payoff. Moments that once felt natural now felt forced. Longtime fans began to sense that the heart of the show was not beating as strongly as before. This does not mean season 8 had no good moments. It did, but the magic felt weaker, like a light that was starting to fade. What made this even more noticeable was how strong earlier seasons had been. The bar was already high. When a show runs for many years, viewers expect growth, not confusion. Season 8 seemed unsure of what it wanted to be. Was it darker, more emotional, more dramatic? The answers were unclear, and that uncertainty showed on screen. John Reardon's connection to this conversation adds weight to the disappointment. Fans listen more closely when someone close to the show is involved. Even if the words are indirect, it feels like permission to speak honestly. Suddenly, viewers who stayed quiet started sharing their own doubts, not out of hate, but out of love for what the show once was. This is why season 8 hurts more than a normal bad season. It feels personal. Hudson and Rex was comfort viewing for many people. It was a show they trusted. When that trust feels shaken, even slightly, the reaction is strong. And that is where this story truly begins. For many viewers, the problem with season 8 was not one big mistake. It was a collection of small changes that added up over time. The show that once felt smooth and confident now felt unsure. Episodes followed familiar patterns, but the energy behind them was missing. Scenes that should have carried emotion passed by without impact. The spark that once made each case exciting seemed harder to find. One major complaint from fans was the writing. In earlier seasons, cases were clear and engaging. The mystery unfolded naturally, and clues felt earned. In season 8, some stories felt rushed, while others felt stretched without reason. Important moments were resolved too quickly, leaving little time to feel the weight of what just happened. At the same time, side plots sometimes took too long and led nowhere meaningful. Character moments also changed in a way that confused viewers. Hudson, once calm and steady, sometimes felt distant. His reactions did not always match the situation. Rex, still loyal and lovable, remained the heart of the show, but even that was not always enough to carry the episode. Fans missed the quiet bonding moments that once defined their partnership. Those small looks, pauses, and shared trust were less visible. The tone of the show also shifted. Season 8 seemed unsure whether it wanted to be darker or lighter. Some episodes tried to feel serious and emotional, while others returned to a softer style. This back and forth created an uneven feeling. Viewers did not know what kind of episode they were about to watch. That lack of balance made it harder to stay fully connected. Another issue was repetition. Long-running shows often struggle with fresh ideas, and season 8 showed signs of that struggle. Certain cases felt too familiar, almost like stories the audience had already seen before. Instead of feeling comforting, it started to feel lazy. Fans wanted new challenges, deeper risks, and stronger stakes. Instead, they often got safe choices. What made all of this more frustrating was the knowledge that the show could do better. Earlier seasons proved it. That is why reactions grew stronger as season 8 went on. People were not watching out of habit alone. They were hoping for the show to find itself again. Each episode became a test, and too many of those tests failed. This is where John Reardon's name quietly fits into the discussion. Even without direct harsh words, the feeling of disappointment matched what fans were already experiencing. It felt like the season lost its clear direction, not because the cast did not care, but because the story itself did not know where to go. Season 8 did not break Hudson and Rex in one moment. It slowly weakened the connection between the show and its audience, and once that connection starts to slip, viewers notice every flaw more clearly. As season 8 moved forward, fan reactions became impossible to ignore. Online discussions changed in tone. Instead of excitement before new episodes, there was hesitation. Longtime viewers began asking the same question again and again. What happened to the show we loved? This was not anger at first. It was confusion, mixed with disappointment, which is often much harder to fix. Some fans rushed to defend the season. They argued that every long-running show has weaker years. They pointed out that the cast was still strong and the cases were still watchable. For them, Hudson and Rex was about comfort, not perfection. Even a flawed season was better than no season at all. These viewers focused on the positives and asked others to be patient. But on the other side, frustration grew louder. Many fans felt that loyalty was being taken for granted. They believed season 8 relied too much on the show's name and past success. Comments started appearing about weak writing, dull cases, and missed emotional beats. Viewers who once recommended the show to friends stopped doing so. That change mattered more than numbers. One common complaint was the lack of tension. Earlier seasons made each case feel important. There was danger, pressure, and urgency. In season 8, too many episodes felt safe. Even serious moments lacked weight. Fans said they were watching, but not feeling. And when a crime show loses that feeling, it loses part of its identity. Another issue fans raised was emotional distance. Relationships that once felt deep now felt flat. Conversations ended too quickly. Conflicts were introduced and resolved without enough buildup. Viewers wanted to see characters struggle, grow, and react in real ways. Instead, many moments passed without leaving a mark. This divide among fans created an uncomfortable space. People who criticized a season were accused of being negative. Those who defended it were accused of ignoring clear problems. The community that once felt united around the show became split, and that split showed how much people still cared. Indifference would have been worse. John Reardon's connection to this discussion made everything feel more serious. Even without a direct statement, fans believe that if disappointment reached this level, something truly went wrong. When viewers think the cast might share their concerns, it validates their feelings. It tells them they are not imagining things. Season 8 became more than just a set of episodes. It became a turning point, a moment where fans had to decide whether to keep holding on or start letting go. And once that question enters the conversation, a show's future suddenly feels uncertain. When a season feels weak, the real reasons are often hidden far from the screen. Season 8's problems may not have started in the story, but behind the scenes where viewers cannot see. Many fans believe season 8 suffered not because of one bad idea, but because of many quiet struggles happening at the same time. Long-running shows face pressure that newer series do not. Schedules become tighter, budgets are watched more closely. Creative teams are asked to do more with less. Over time, these limits begin to show in the final product. One possible issue was creative fatigue. After many seasons, it becomes harder to find fresh ideas that still feel true to the show. Writers may feel trapped between trying something new and keeping loyal fans happy. Season 8 often felt like it was stuck in the middle. It did not fully commit to change, but it also failed to build strongly on what already worked. Another possible problem was structure. Some episodes felt rushed, as if they were cut down before they could breathe. Important scenes ended too quickly. Emotional moments passed without time to settle. This can happen when production timelines are tight, when there is no space to refine a script or rework a scene. Small problems turn into big ones. There is also the challenge of consistency. Earlier seasons of Hudson and Rex had a clear rhythm. Each episode flowed in a familiar way, making it easy for viewers to relax and enjoy the ride. Season 8 sometimes broke that rhythm. Tone shifted suddenly. Focus changed without warning. These are signs of a team trying to adjust on the move instead of following a strong plan. Cast and crew commitment has never been the issue. Performances remained professional and sincere. But even the best actors cannot save weak material. When dialogue lacks depth or scenes lack purpose, the effort shows, but the impact does not. Fans often sense this difference, even if they cannot explain it clearly. Another factor could be audience pressure. After many successful seasons, expectations grow heavier. Every episode is judged not just on its own, but against years of strong storytelling. Season 8 was judged more harshly because the show had already proven how good it could be. That comparison made every flaw stand out more. John Reardon's name again enters the conversation here, not as blame, but as a symbol. When people close to a show appear quiet or distant, fans read into it. They assume frustration or disappointment. Even if none is spoken aloud, silence, in this case, felt louder than words. Season 8 may have been a season of survival rather than creativity. A season focused on getting through rather than pushing forward. And while viewers understand that reality, understanding does not erase disappointment. It only explains it. This behind-the-scenes pressure does not excuse the flaws, but it helps explain why Season 8 felt weaker. And it raises an important question. Was this just a rough phase or a sign that the show is losing its way? Season 8 did more than divide fans. It created doubt. For the first time, many loyal viewers began to question where the show is heading. That matters. Because Hudson and Rex has always survived on trust. Fans trusted the tone, the characters, and the promise that each season would feel familiar but still satisfying. When that trust weakens, even slightly, the future feels uncertain. One concern is whether the show has reached a creative limit. Long-running series often face this problem. Stories start to repeat, conflict feels smaller, risks are avoided. Season 8 showed signs of playing it safe when bold choices were needed. If the show continues in that direction, it risks becoming background noise instead of must-watch television. At the same time, Season 8 could also be a turning point in a positive way. Weak seasons sometimes wake up a creative team. Fan criticism, when loud enough, forces reflection. Writers look back at what worked before. Producers rethink direction. A stumble can become a reset. The question is whether the people behind Hudson and Rex are willing to listen. John Reardon's quiet presence in this conversation adds emotional weight. Fans see him as part of the heart of the show. If viewers believe he feels the same disappointment, it raises expectations for change. People will watch the next season closely, not with blind loyalty, but with cautious hope. Every episode will be judged more carefully than before. Another key factor is the audience itself. Viewers are no longer passive. They discuss episodes online. They share clips. They compare seasons in detail. Season 8 reminded fans that their voices matter. If future seasons ignore that feedback, frustration will grow faster. If they respond to it, trust can slowly return. There is also the emotional bond that still exists. Despite all the criticism, fans did not walk away completely. They complained because they cared. They stayed because they remembered how good the show once felt. Rex is still loved. The core relationship still matters. That foundation gives the show a chance to recover. Season 8 may be remembered as the season that tested loyalty, not the season that ended the show, but the one that forced it to choose a direction, stay comfortable and safe, or grow and reconnect with what made it special in the first place. The future of Hudson and Rex now depends on one thing: Whether the lessons of Season 8 are ignored or finally taken seriously, even after all the criticism, debates, and disappointment, fans did not turn their backs on Hudson and Rex. That alone says everything. People do not spend time breaking down a season they no longer care about. They speak up because the show still matters to them. Season 8 hurt precisely because it came from something deeply familiar and trusted for many viewers. Hudson and Rex has always been more than a crime show. It was routine, comfort, something to relax with after a long day. The bond between Hudson and Rex felt honest and calming. When Season 8 weakened that feeling, fans felt like they were losing more than just good episodes. They felt like they were losing a safe space. This is why reactions became emotional instead of casual. Disappointment turned into long discussions. Small issues became big topics. Viewers remembered earlier seasons in detail because they wanted proof that the magic once existed. They were not imagining it. The show had been better, warmer, and more confident before. Season 8 reminded fans how fragile long-running shows can be. One uneven season is enough to change how people watch. Trust turns into caution. Excitement turns into waiting. Viewers no longer press play with certainty. They watch carefully, looking for signs of life instead of simply enjoying the story. John Reardon's connection to the show deepens this emotional response. Fans see him as a symbol of what made Hudson and Rex work. When the season feels weak, they worry not just about the writing, but about the people behind the characters. They want the cast to be proud of the work again. They want that spark back on screen. What keeps hope alive is the memory of earlier success. The show has proven it can tell strong stories. It has proven it can balance heart and mystery. That history is the reason fans are still here. They believe recovery is possible. They believe Season 8 does not have to define the series. This final section of the story is not about blame. It is about care. Season 8 did not kill love for Hudson and Rex. It tested it. And in many ways, the strong reaction shows that the bond is still alive, even if it feels strained. But the future will decide everything. If the show listens, adjusts, and remembers its roots, fans will forgive. If it does not, Season 8 will be remembered as the moment when faith began to fade. In the end, the strongest sign of trouble is not anger. It is fear that something once loved may never feel the same again.